Eli Wallach was not only one of the most respected stage and screen actors of his time, but was also a kind-hearted man that everyone enjoyed working with. While his most iconic screen role may very well be his portrayal of, quote, the ugly in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the actor chose to spend most of his time favoring challenging dramatic roles on the stage to star-making turns in blockbuster films. After nearly a century of glorious living, Eli passed away in 2014. Join Facts First as we examine Eli Wallach's life and death. Eli Wallach was born in Brooklyn, December 7, 1915. His parents were Jewish immigrants who had come from Poland, and they lived in the predominantly Italian neighborhood of Red Hook. Eli had 2 sisters and a brother, and their parents owned and operated a candy store in the area. As he started growing up, Eli became interested in seeing what the world had to offer besides New York. He chose to attend college at the University of Texas, where he received a degree in history. While there, he was said to have performed in a play with fellow students Walter Cronkite and Anne Sheridan. Besides his formal education, the state of Texas also had a more subtle influence on the young man. He learned to ride horses and became increasingly fond of the positive attitude Texas exuded in comparison to the more abrasive New Yorkers. After receiving his degree, he headed back to his home state, where he further pursued his education at City College of New York. While there, he received a master's in education. Another thing he did upon returning was to begin studying method acting at the Neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater in New York City. However, Eli was forced to put his education on hold after being drafted into the U.S. Army in 1941. He served until 45 when World War II ended. After returning, he resumed his studies. Eli began taking classes at the dramatic workshop of the New School in New York City and later became one of the founding members of the now prestigious Actors Studio. Through the Actors Studio, Eli was able to make connections with actors like Marlon Brando and Sidney Lumet. The Actors Studio is also how he met Marilyn Monroe, as well as his future wife, Ann Jackson. When Marilyn was first interested in acting, Eli and Ann were 2 of the first friends she made. They spent a lot of time studying together, and Marilyn was even said to have babysat for the couple on numerous occasions. Although Eli had made his debut on Broadway in 1945, he didn't receive his big break until 1951. That year, he appeared in the Tennessee Williams play The Rose Tattoo. Acting alongside Maureen Stapleton, the performance netted him a Tony Award. From there, he made several more successful turns in notable plays, including Mr. Roberts, Camino Real, and The Tea House of the August Moon. While Eli was finding plenty of success on stage, he didn't make his debut on the screen until 1956. Although he was certainly receiving a great deal of praise during his Broadway days, he and Ann weren't making a great deal of money. This is what eventually made Eli decide it was time to take on some film roles. He had been offered film roles since rising to prominence on Broadway, but always turned them down because he had no interest in the media. The first film he appeared in was the controversial 1956 feature Baby Doll, directed by Elia Kazan and written by Tennessee Williams. Eli had worked with both of them on stage, so the film proved the perfect place for him to make his entrance into the cinema. Although the film was controversial due to some of its sexual material, it received plenty of praise for its writing, direction, and Eli's acting. After making his on-screen debut, Eli went on to act in over 90 films before his death in 2014. He also appeared in many TV dramas, but he kept coming back to the stage time and time again. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already, and stick around for more about Eli Wallach. One of Eli's early notable on-screen roles came when he acted beside both Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable in The Misfits. It was directed by John Huston and written by famed playwright Arthur Miller, who had once been Marilyn's lover. Eli was able to get the role due to his friendship with Marilyn and was incredibly grateful for the chance to appear alongside both her and Clark Gable. Despite his preference for performing on stage, Eli continued acting in many more films over the course of his career. His most memorable performance was arguably in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It was the second sequel to A Fistful of Dollars after 1965's For a Few Dollars More. The film has arguably gone down in history as the most popular of the 3, thanks in no small part to the addition of Eli Wallach's Tuco, aka The Ugly. After that, he appeared in a few more spaghetti westerns, including 1968's Ace High. Henry Fonda was said to have asked Eli for advice before taking on his role in Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West. Eli encouraged Peter to take his role in that classic 1968 film, and the rest is history. After appearing alongside each other in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Eli and Clint Eastwood remained great friends. They even worked together again several decades later. Clint cast Eli in his 2003 feature Mystic River, alongside such stars as Sean Penn and Tim Robbins. Eli was said to have almost died 3 times during the filming of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The first time, he accidentally ingested a bottle of acid that was sat next to his drink. On the second occasion, he was perched atop a horse with his hands tied behind his back when the horse was startled by a gunshot and took off running. The third time, he was almost decapitated while being forced to lie down on some railroad tracks. Thankfully, he survived. The role he got the most fan mail for was as popular villain Mr. Freeze on the 1960s Batman TV series. It was said to have kept his mailbox filled with fan letters praising his performance for years to come. He continued acting well into his twilight years. In 1990, Francis Ford Coppola cast him as a mob boss in The Godfather Part 3, for which he received a ton of praise. Eli received an honorary Academy Award in 2010 at age 94. His final performance was in a short film called The Train, which cast Eli as an aging Holocaust survivor. It was released in 2015 after his death. Eli stayed married to Ann Jackson until his death. They married March 5, 1948, and their marriage lasted for nearly 7 decades. They have 3 children, Peter, Roberta, and Catherine. Roberta went on to become an actress herself, appearing in several films. On top of being a kind man with a lot of integrity, Eli was also a teetotaler. He didn't imbibe in any alcohol whatsoever. Despite his healthy lifestyle and positive outlook, he inevitably began aging like anyone else. In 2005, he lost the ability to see out of his left eye after suffering from a stroke. Over the next decade, his health became worse before failing for good in 2014. He died of natural causes June 24th at the age of 98. At the time of Eli's death, he and Ann had been married for 66 years. Ann died a few years later in 2016. In 2006, Eli had appeared alongside Kate Winslet in the romantic comedy The Holiday. Eli was said to have made quite the impression on Kate during production, as the actress went on to express she considered Eli to be one of the sexiest and most charismatic men she'd ever met. Everyone who worked with Eli seemed to have great things to say about him, from playwright Arthur Miller to director and co-star Clint Eastwood. Although Eli preferred working on the stage to working on film, he never let that show to his coworkers. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share what role you best remember from Eli Wallach. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.